My dear friend, there comes a moment in life when you realize that carrying every burden on your shoulders is not the way forward. The secret is simple, yet powerful. Hand over your worries to God. Stop clinging to the illusion that you must figure it all out alone. When you release fear and open your heart, you allow the divine to do the impossible for you. There is a kind of freedom that cannot be found in the constant struggle to control every detail of your life. You may believe that if you hold on tighter, if you plan harder, if you worry more, then somehow you will make things turn out the way you want. But the truth is, that approach only makes your shoulders heavy, your heart tired, and your mind restless. Surrender is not defeat. Surrender is liberation. When you surrender, you are not saying, I give up. You are saying, I trust something greater than me to carry what I cannot. And in that moment, you will feel an unexplainable release, as if 1,000 invisible weights have been lifted from your soul. We have been taught to believe that control is power. But the more you try to control, the more you discover how powerless that makes you feel. The mind races, trying to fix, trying to predict, trying to manipulate every circumstance. And the more you fight, the more resistance you create. Life was never meant to be lived with clenched fists. Life was meant to be lived with open hands. To surrender is to unclench your hands and say, no longer need to force this. I allow life to unfold. And I allow God to guide. In that place of allowing, miracles begin to happen. The things you once begged for suddenly appear without effort. The solutions you searched for begin to reveal themselves. Opportunities you couldn't imagine begin to knock gently on your door. This is the quiet power of surrender. When you step back, the divine steps in. When you let go, the flow of life carries you exactly where you need to be. Surrender does not mean weakness. In fact, it is the ultimate strength. It takes courage to release control. It takes faith to say, I cannot see the outcome, but I trust that it is already taken care of. That is not weakness. That is deep inner wisdom. That is the recognition that you are not separate from the source that created you. When you live in that awareness, fear dissolves and peace takes its place. Think of the river. The river does not fight to flow. It does not push against the rocks. It simply moves around them, always finding its way back to the ocean. The river is never in a hurry, never in panic, and yet it always reaches its destination. You are like that river. When you surrender, you allow your life to flow. You stop exhausting yourself by pushing against what is. You allow the natural current of divine wisdom to carry you. And you find, with wonder, that life has a way of working out more beautifully than you could have planned on your own. There will be voices in your mind that say, but if I let go, everything will fall apart. That is the lie of fear. The truth is, when you let go, everything falls into place. Fear wants you to believe that you are alone and powerless. But surrender reminds you that you are supported and guided by a love far greater than anything you could imagine. The moment you let go, you stop living in the energy of struggle and step into the energy of grace. Surrender does not mean that you do nothing. It means that whatever you do it from a place of peace, not desperation. You take action when you are guided, not when you are panicked. You speak when your heart nudges you, not when fear demands it. You move when inspired, not when pressured. This is the freedom of surrender, the ability to live your life not out of worry but out of wisdom, not out of fear but out of faith. So today, imagine what it would feel like to take the burden off your back. Imagine what it would feel like to no longer carry the weight of the world in your heart. Imagine what it would feel like to breathe deeply and know that you are safe, you are held, and you are guided. That is the feeling of surrender. That is the doorway to freedom. And it is always available to you the moment you say, I release this. I trust. I let go. Worry is one of the greatest thieves of joy. It creeps in quietly, whispering questions about tomorrow, stirring doubts about today, and planting fear about things that may never happen. You may believe that worrying is a form of preparation, that somehow if you worry enough, you will be ready for whatever comes. But the truth is, worry does not prepare you. Worry paralyzes you. It drains your energy, clouds your clarity, and shuts the door to the miracles waiting to enter your life. Every time you let worry take over, you are sending a message to yourself and to the universe that you do not trust. Worry is the opposite of faith. It is a statement that says, I believe in fear more than I believe in love. And when fear becomes your guiding force, miracles cannot flow. It's not because the blessings have disappeared. They are still right there. But worry builds a wall so high that you cannot see them, and it blinds your heart to the opportunities that are already surrounding you. Think of sunlight pouring through an open window. When you worry, it is as if you have pulled the curtains shut. The light is still shining outside, but you cannot feel its warmth. You cannot see its brilliance. All because of the curtains of fear you have closed in your mind. Miracles, like sunlight, are constant. They are always there. But worry keeps you from receiving them. When you set worry aside, even for a moment, the curtains open and the light streams in again. Worry has another cost. It pulls you out of the present moment. It keeps you living in a future that has not yet arrived or a past that cannot be changed. Life is only ever lived now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this single moment. Miracles, too, happen only in the now. When you are lost in worry, you miss the gentle whispers of guidance that come in the present. You miss the small signs, the quiet nudges, the doors opening right in front of you. Have you ever noticed that when you finally stop worrying, solutions begin to appear? Perhaps you wrestled with a problem for days, circling the same thoughts, going over the same fears. And then, when you gave up in exhaustion and let it go, the answer appeared so easily that you wondered why you had worried at all. That is how miracles work. They cannot enter a mind that is tangled in knots of fear, but the moment the knots are loosened, the moment you exhale and release, clarity and blessing flow in. Worry also affects the body. It creates tension in your muscles, restlessness in your sleep, heaviness in your chest. This is because the body listens to the mind. When your thoughts are anxious, your body believes it is in danger. But the danger is not real. It is only imagined. Miracles, on the other hand, bring the body into peace. They remind you that you are safe, that life is supporting you, that the universe is not against you but for you. The sooner you stop worrying, the sooner your body can heal, your mind can rest, and your heart can open again. Letting go of worry does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing faith over fear. It means saying, I see the challenge, but I also know that a solution exists. I do not have to figure it out all alone. I trust that help is on the way. This shift of perspective is the very thing that opens the door for the impossible to become possible. Imagine how many miracles you may have delayed because you were too busy doubting, too caught in rehearsing worst-case scenarios, too focused on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. And then imagine how quickly miracles could flow if you decided today to release that worry, to trust, and to stand still long enough for blessings to catch up with you. The moment you stop worrying, you create space. And in that space, peace comes, clarity comes, abundance comes, love comes. The miracle has always been waiting. It was simply blocked by fear. When you let go of worry, you do not make miracles happen. You simply allow them to arrive, just as they were always meant to. Trust is the greatest form of prayer because it goes beyond words. Anyone can speak words, anyone can recite affirmations, anyone can whisper hopes into the sky. But trust is the prayer you live. Trust is the posture of the heart that says, even if I cannot see the path ahead, I know I am guided. Even if I do not yet hold the answer in my hand, I know the answer is already on its way. Trust is more powerful than pleading because it rests in the certainty that the divine has already heard you, already begun to move in your favor, already prepared the solution before you even asked. When you trust, you no longer pray from desperation. You pray from faith. You are not begging for help. You are aligning with the help that is already present. Trust is not loud. It does not demand. It is quiet and steady, like the still surface of a calm lake. It does not panic when the storm clouds appear, because it knows the sun has not disappeared. It is simply hidden for a time. This is the essence of trust, the deep inner knowing that no matter what the appearance is, the truth is that you are held and supported. So often, people believe prayer must be complicated, long, filled with words, filled with ritual. But prayer at its highest form is not what you say. It is what you believe. To trust is to say with your whole being, I already know it is done. That certainty itself is a prayer, more powerful than 1,000 anxious words. Trust whispers to the universe, I am ready to receive. I am ready to allow. And the universe responds to that vibration instantly. Think about a child who trusts their parent completely. The child does not worry if there will be food on the table tomorrow. The child does not stay awake wondering if they will be cared for, protected, or loved. The child simply rests, knowing they are safe. That innocence is the purest form of trust, and it is what opens the gates of heaven. When you live with that kind of trust toward the divine, life softens. You stop fighting, you stop fearing, and you begin to live in the comfort of knowing that you are looked after. Trust is also the most courageous form of prayer. It takes bravery to release control. It takes strength to say, I do not need to know how this will work out. I only need to know that it will. This surrender is not weakness. It is the deepest kind of strength because it requires faith in the unseen. Anyone can trust when the answer is visible, when the blessing is already in hand. But true trust is holding on to peace even in the silence, even in the waiting. That is the prayer that moves mountains. When you trust, you change your energy. You shift from fear into love, from doubt into certainty, from resistance into flow. And because life reflects your inner state, the moment you choose trust, doors begin to open. Solutions rise up. Help arrives in forms you could never have predicted. Trust is the prayer that calls miracles into motion. It is easy to trust when life is smooth. The real prayer begins when everything feels uncertain, when the bank account is low, when the doctor's report is heavy, when the relationship feels broken, when the path is unclear. That is the moment you must decide whether you will sink into worry or rise into trust. Each time you choose trust, you are speaking the most powerful prayer of all. I believe in the unseen. I believe in love. I believe in the goodness of life, and I know I am not forsaken. And so the invitation is simple. Begin to live your prayer. Instead of only speaking faith, embody faith. Instead of asking with fear, expect with confidence. Walk as if the answer has already been delivered. Love as if the healing has already occurred. And live as if the miracle is already here. That is the heart of trust. That is the greatest prayer you can ever offer. There are moments in life when the challenges before you seem far too great. You look at the situation and your mind whispers, this is impossible. There is no way out. There is no solution. And in that moment, you may feel powerless, as though the weight of the world is pressing against your chest. But let me remind you, what looks impossible to you is never impossible to God. The very situations that appear hopeless are the ones where He delights in showing His power. The impossible belongs to Him, and when you place your trust in Him, you open the door for the miraculous. Think about the moments in your life when you faced a mountain and believed you could never climb it, yet somehow the path appeared. Think about the nights when you cried because you couldn't see the way forward, and yet the dawn came with answers you never expected. You see, what seems impossible to the human mind is not a barrier to the divine. He is not limited by time, by resources, by logic, or by human reasoning. Where you see a dead end, He sees a beginning. Where you see brokenness, He sees healing. Where you see scarcity, He sees abundance. We often confuse our limitations with His limitations. Just because you cannot imagine how it will work out does not mean it cannot work out. Just because you cannot see the solution does not mean it does not exist. The impossible belongs to Him precisely because He operates on a level far beyond our understanding. He is not restricted by what you know or by what you think can happen. His ways are higher, His timing is perfect, and His wisdom is infinite. There is freedom in realizing that you do not need to figure everything out. Your role is not to carry the weight of the impossible. Your role is to release it into His hands, to trust that the One who created the universe has no difficulty rearranging circumstances in your favor. The impossible becomes possible not because of your effort, but because of your faith. Faith is the bridge between your need and His provision. Faith is the spark that allows the miraculous to ignite in your life. Consider how many people throughout history faced what looked impossible. A sea parting so a nation could walk through on dry ground. A shepherd boy defeating a giant with nothing but a stone. A barren womb giving birth to new life. Over and over again, the impossible became possible because God was present. These stories are not just ancient tales. They are reminders for you today that He has not changed. The same power that moved mountains then still moves mountains now. When you hold on to the belief that everything is up to you, the world feels heavy. But when you shift your perspective and remember that the impossible belongs to Him, peace begins to fill you. You no longer wake up in fear of what tomorrow may bring. Instead, you rise with the certainty that no matter what comes, you are not alone. And the One who holds the stars also holds your life. The miracle often comes at the very point when you have reached the end of yourself. When you have done all you can and no solution appears, that is when His power shines brightest. It is in your weakness that His strength is revealed. The impossible is His stage, the place where He shows you that nothing is beyond His reach. What may take you years of struggle can take Him a single moment of grace. So when the voice of fear tells you, "This cannot be done," let your spirit answer back, "It is not mine to do alone. It belongs to Him." When doubt says, "There is no way," let your heart whisper, "He is the way." The impossible is not a barrier, it is an invitation to trust deeper, to release more fully, to walk in faith instead of fear. And so, the next time you face the impossible, remember this truth: it does not belong to you. It belongs to Him. And because it belongs to Him, it is already on its way to becoming possible. Rest in that certainty. Stand in that faith. And watch as the impossible transforms into a miracle before your very eyes. There is a deep peace that comes when you finally choose to release and rest. So many of us live with clenched hands, trying to control every outcome, trying to hold every detail together, trying to carry burdens that were never meant to be ours. And in the process, we exhaust ourselves. We lose sleep, we lose joy, and we lose the ability to feel the presence of God guiding us. But when you release what weighs you down And when you rest in faith, you discover a freedom that no amount of worry or striving could ever bring. Releasing does not mean ignoring your responsibilities. It does not mean you stop caring. It simply means you understand the difference between what is yours to do and what belongs to God. It means you do what you can with love and faith, and then you lay down the rest. You hand over the heavy things that are beyond your control and you say, "This no longer belongs to me. I trust you to handle it." That act of surrender is where peace is born. Rest is not laziness. Rest is alignment. Rest is the outward expression of inner trust. When you choose to rest, you are making a powerful declaration that says, "I believe God is working even when I cannot see it. I believe answers are forming even while I sleep. I believe that the one who never slumbers is guiding all things into perfect order." This kind of rest is holy. It is healing. It renews your strength, restores your spirit, and opens the space for miracles to unfold. The truth is, worry never solved a single problem. Sleepless nights never made the answers arrive any faster. Anxiety never opened a door. But rest allows clarity to come. Rest restores the mind. Rest makes space for divine guidance to whisper solutions you could not have thought of on your own. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came not from struggle but from rest. A quiet walk, a peaceful moment, a silent prayer. The human mind finds its brilliance not in constant activity, but in stillness. Think of nature. The trees do not strain to grow. The flowers do not worry about how they will bloom. The sun does not force itself to rise. Everything in creation knows how to rest in the rhythm of life. And yet, without struggle, everything in nature thrives. You too are a part of this design. When you align with that rhythm, when you let yourself release and rest, you begin to flourish in the same way. You stop living in resistance and start living in flow. Rest is also a form of worship. When you allow yourself to be still, you are saying, "I trust you enough to stop striving. I believe in your promise enough to close my eyes in peace. I rest because I know it is already done." That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith draws miracles to you because it shows the universe that you are ready to receive. Many people believe they must earn their blessings by struggling. But the truth is, blessings are not earned through exhaustion. They are received through trust. The moment you release the burden and choose to rest, you align yourself with the flow of grace. That is when doors open. That is when healing begins. That is when the impossible becomes possible. So I invite you today to loosen your grip. Release the fear. Release the need to know every step ahead. Release the habit of carrying what was never yours to carry. And then rest. Rest in the knowing that God is at work. Rest in the peace that solutions are forming. Rest in the comfort that you are held in love. You will find that the moment you release and rest, life begins to feel lighter. The answers begin to arrive. The opportunities begin to unfold. And you realize you never had to fight so hard to make it happen. You only had to trust enough to let go. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It unlocks doors, shifts energy, and transforms situations faster than almost anything else. When you live in gratitude, you are aligning yourself with abundance. You are telling God, "I see the blessings I already have, and I trust you for the blessings that are on the way." Gratitude is not only a reaction to good things that happen. It is a spiritual posture that invites more good things to appear. It is both the seed and the harvest. So often, people wait until after the miracle to be grateful. They wait until the prayer is answered, until the healing arrives, until the breakthrough is visible. But true gratitude is being thankful before the miracle shows up. It is saying, "Thank you," while the situation still looks uncertain. This is what unlocks the answer. because gratitude is an expression of faith. When you give thanks in advance, you are declaring that you trust the outcome. You are saying, I know it is already done. And that energy, that vibration, creates the perfect space for miracles to manifest. Gratitude also changes the way you see the world. A worried heart sees obstacles everywhere. A grateful heart sees blessings in every direction. The same situation can look completely different depending on the lens you choose. Gratitude clears your vision. It helps you see opportunities that worry would have blinded you to. It opens your awareness to small signs, gentle nudges, and pathways that were always there, but hidden under the fog of fear. Even in moments of difficulty, there is always something to be grateful for. Breath in your lungs, a heart that still beats, a new morning full of possibility. Gratitude does not deny the challenges of life. It simply shifts your focus so the challenges do not consume you. Gratitude keeps your spirit alive when circumstances try to drag you down. It reminds you that no matter how dark the night feels, there is always light to be found. And as you focus on that light, it grows brighter. Gratitude is also magnetic. The more grateful you are, the more reasons you are given to be grateful. When you thank God for the blessings you have, you open the floodgates for more to flow into your life. Gratitude multiplies. It is like planting seeds. The more you plant, the more harvest comes. A grateful heart cannot stay empty for long because gratitude attracts abundance, love, and joy. There is a great peace that comes with practicing gratitude daily. Each time you pause and say, thank you, you shift from lack into abundance, from fear into trust, from anxiety into peace. Gratitude is a prayer without words, a song of the heart that rises above all circumstances. It doesn't matter how small the blessing may seem. The moment you recognize it and give thanks for it, you magnify it. Gratitude is like shining a light on what is good, and what you shine light on will always grow. If you want to unlock answers, start with gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, say, thank you for this new day. When you face challenges, say, thank you that even in this, something good will come. When you pray for something you desire, say, thank you that it is already mine in spirit. Gratitude is the key that turns the lock on the door to miracles. It tells the universe that you are ready, open, and willing to receive. So practice gratitude not just as a fleeting thought, but as a way of life. Write down the blessings you notice. Speak them aloud. Whisper thank you throughout your day. Let gratitude be the language of your soul. And as you do, watch how life begins to shift. Watch how prayers are answered faster. Watch how the impossible suddenly becomes possible. Gratitude unlocks the answer not because it forces God's hand, but because it aligns your heart with His. It places you in the perfect position to receive what has been waiting for you all along. When you live in gratitude, you are no longer chasing miracles. You are living in them.